Hi everyone, my name is Kitty Skeletal, and if you haven't heard my voice before, hi. This is going to be my first voiceover video speed paint. So we're going to see how it goes. If you like it, feel free to comment down below and request some more. So yeah, I'd like to start by wishing a Merry Christmas to those who celebrate and a very happy holiday season to those who don't. Today I am drawing MAPLESHADE from Warrior Cats, and this is actually for a client on Instagram who commissioned this piece as a Christmas gift for her daughter Tiri. Tiri, I hope you're having a great Christmas. Your mom loves you a whole lot, and I take Christmas very seriously, so I kind of went off the deep end. So this was supposed to be a full body. This was supposed to be just a full body, no background, no speed paint, no none of that. But I'm insane, the spirit of Christmas possessed me, and here we are. So, yeah. You'll notice I get a lot looser once I get to the shading and beyond, and that's because I could feel how stiff I was getting with everything, and I was really trying to internalize all the things I am about to tell you. So, in addition to MAPLESHADE, your mom also asked if I'd be willing to do a one-on-one digital art lesson since you apparently live close to my childhood home. Unfortunately, this wasn't doable because I have since moved about 6 hours away, but again, I don't play when it comes to Christmas. So I offered to write up some general advice about how I got to where I am and things I wish I had known when I began taking my art seriously. And I want to make myself clear when I say that this is not a tutorial. I'm not going to tell you how to draw because, in my opinion, there is so much more to art than the physical act of drawing. Observation, classes, and tutorials will get you farther on the technical front than anything I could do in this video. Instead, I'd like to talk a little bit about the mindsets, attitudes, values, and habits that make an artist truly great, because in my experience, that kind of thing is much more difficult to find information about than something like the elements and principles of design. So this is less art advice and more life advice. I hope it's of some use to you. Number 1. So this is the one and only thing I will say regarding artistic technique. I could go on and on and on about how I draw wings and eyes and fur and whatnot, but the thing is, anyone could do that, and many already have. Your skill level and your style are things that will develop with time and practice and exposure. There's this idea I don't really love that your style is your personal fingerprint that makes your art immediately recognizable as yours. I think style is more of a mosaic of artistic influences that have left an impression on you over the years, and the best way to develop your style is to engage with as much art as possible. Go to museums, listen to music, and watch movies and read books you never thought you'd like. Make friends with other artists. Try to understand why other people make the choices they do. Actively think about what you like and dislike about a piece, and what you might want to incorporate into your own process. The hard technique, the anatomy, and the light sources in the composition will all come with time, especially if you go out of your way to push the boundary of what you think you can do, but real artistic personality is a collaboration between you and what you love. Anyone can draw like me, but only you can draw like you. Stop comparing yourself to, quote, better artists, and start looting them. Take what you like from my art and run with it. Leave the rest behind. Number 2, don't worry about social media. It was invented to deep fry your brain. How much attention your art gets or doesn't get isn't reflective of your skill or your passion. I'm going to show my age here and say that the internet kids are growing up on nowadays isn't the internet I grew up on just 10 years ago. When I was starting out, we had places like DeviantArt and Tumblr where we were shown art from people we followed in the order they posted it. Nothing was hidden from you, you weren't force-fed posts from advertisers and accounts you didn't follow, and the numbers weren't inflated. Engagement on DeviantArt in particular was tucked away on the side in small print. You had to scroll down to find out how many favorites a piece had gotten. The internet today is governed by algorithms that artificially promote posts according to a set of rules that are a secret to the public. You don't have to have a killer concept or an emotional core. You don't even have to be very good, because all it comes down to is winning the algorithmic lottery. The goal of these platforms is to make money, and that goes for all of them. Remember that every time you find yourself comparing your work to whatever Instagram is shoving in your face that day. And if you still aren't sold on the robot conspiracy, here's a fact. You can buy likes. You can pay a website money, and that website will create 100 empty accounts to go and click the heart button on your art. If that isn't proof that social media engagement doesn't prove your worth, I don't know what is. Number 3. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Don't just try to pander to whatever is trendy. This is the fastest way to start looking at your art as a product to be consumed and not a part of yourself to be shared. I'm not saying never draw anything popular or to never make fan art. I'm saying draw that stuff because you like it and you want to draw it. That weird thing you want to make but you're worried people will think it's cringe, make it anyway. Not only will someone like it, someone out there at this very moment is hoping it exists. If you only make stuff to turn a profit or to get a million retweets, your audience is going to be a lot of people who don't really care about what you're doing because you don't really care about what you're doing. Some of the most dedicated fan bases I've ever seen were for these crazy, niche, hit-or-miss, swing-for-the-fences kinds of projects with tiny but amazingly loyal communities that ran to see when something new came out because they loved it. And they loved it because that artist loved it. Number 4, it doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be. I've always had this super all-or-nothing approach to everything I do, and it's one of the most destructive things an artist can internalize. People love my clean lines and crisp shading, but that is a direct result of me pruning all of the spontaneity and expressiveness from my work. Earlier in this video, I said something about pushing the boundary of what you think you can do. When you hold back on your ideas, waiting for this mythical day where you can finally pull it off, you're both guaranteeing that thing is never going to exist and guaranteeing that you're never going to improve. You know how teachers have those cheesy motivational posters in their rooms? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take and all that jazz? Well, they're right. The unfortunate fact of the matter is that someday we are all going to die. And for artists in particular, the ideas we never bring forth die with us. No one can do exactly what you do exactly the way you do it. You have nothing to lose because there is no failure in art. Everything you do is built on what you've already done, and it all takes you one step closer to where you want to be. Keep going. Number 5, and I consider this to be the most important one, hold on to yourself. If you take only one thing from this video, let it be this. My inability to be genuine and authentic has left me artistically crippled. I'd say the world has been deprived of a lot of truly great art because so many people, myself included, have put this need to protect themselves from judgment over the joy and freedom of creation. I spent this whole video talking about what makes a great artist, but I cannot count myself among them. I am not a great artist. And that's not me being fake humble or wallowing in imposter syndrome. I am talented, and I have skills I know someone would kill to have. I'm not going to insult the intelligence of my audience by pretending that isn't the case. But that talent, that skill, that lifetime of experience cannot compensate for the fact that my mindset is all off. The truth of me is that I am small and afraid and incapable of the outward display of vulnerability and passion that great art demands. I was a better artist at 14 years of age than I am now at 24, because great artists are above all sincere. As I write this video, I am fighting to return to myself, to the brilliant young girl I was before I became so frightened. I've received many messages over the years from young people saying that they hope to be like me one day, and the reality is that one day I hope to be like them. Your life is a gift, and there is no better thing for you to be than unapologetically yourself. Please never, ever lose sight of that. So, that concludes the scripted portion of this video, and those are probably the biggest things I would recommend to somebody who's just starting out with art. I'm gonna put all of those tips in like the pinned comment. The good news is we still have a few minutes to kill, so I figured I might talk a little bit about what I'm doing here. As I said already, take what you like from this and leave the rest. Just, run with it, go wild. MAPLESHADE. I like her. I think she's fun. I think Warrior Cats does not have much in the way of female villains, and the ones they do have, they're never going to be MAPLESHADE. They're just trying to be her and failing. So, about now, we're kind of up to the point where I started on the blood, just to, this is going to be just like this is what I do when I'm doing this kind of thing. This isn't me telling you what to do, this is just what's going through my head when I'm doing this part of the process. When I'm drawing blood, and it doesn't look good, I find that's usually for one of two reasons. Number one is I'm trying to do it with a brush, and I'm trying to take the easy way out by just like, splapping it on there. No, I have to do it the hard way. I have to take the pen tool and I need to draw it in like, bit by bit. It takes forever, but I think it looks good. That or there isn't enough of it. Like, usually I find whatever problem I'm having with my blood is usually fixed by adding more of it. But yeah, you can see there's this big pool of blood, but then you'll also see these little droplets, and they're not perfect circles or ovals, they're irregular. You have these droplets, you have these bigger splotches that are kind of spraying out in every direction. Yeah, we have like 3 or 4 layers of shading going on there. And you'll see I pull up like 5 or 6 references that I just have on the canvas at any given time. Those are from my, they come from a lot of different places. Some of them I pull from my Tumblr, some of them I pull from my Pinterest, some of them are just from media that I've like seen over the years, and I'm like, ooh, I like how they did that, and I take it. Yeah, so I think there's a screenshot from Beastars in there, and then just stuff I've pulled from everywhere else. But yeah, once I do the blood, I'm like, this needs more. It needs more, because it always needs more when you're me. So I was like, okay, we're gonna add the kits in here. I want them to be a part of this, because so many like MAPLESHADE AMVs like have the kits involved at the very end. Just like, yep, you certainly did all that for them, didn't you, hon? Yeah. So what I have is like this kind of like really like not low effort necessarily, but this was supposed to be a preliminary sketch of the kits, just kind of like get the composition figured out. What I did to create that kind of glowy effect, because I'm working in Psy. Psy is a very rudimentary program. It's like the digital art equivalent of living in a house with no electricity or running water. There's no gradient tools, there's no text tool, there's no nothing. You're fighting for your life. So what I did to get that glow effect is I drew that preliminary sketch like with an airbrush, with like a smaller airbrush, and then I copied that layer and then I blurred that layer, so it creates this very faint kind of glow effect around them. Then I selected the outside, I inverted the selection, I filled it with a flat color, and then that kind of just to make it look like they're like spirits, so I did that, and I'm like, oh, that looks good, I really like that. And I'm like, okay, one problem though, the anatomy is horrible. The anatomy is really, really bad. And I sat there for like an hour, I kept like getting up and sitting back down at the chair and like looking at it again, and I'm like, yeah, no, I can't in good conscience. But then I looked at it some more, and I was like, you know what I could do? And what I did was I found a website where you can upload an image and it will glitch that image for you. And I tried that out, and it looked awesome. And I feel like it kind of hid the fact that the anatomy isn't the best. It kind of kept the fluidity of everything, but it made the anatomy a little less distracting, and it just really kind of added to the fact that like MAPLESHADE has like lost it, Yeah, so I put that in, and you can tell the exact moment I start getting desperate with a piece, because I open up Clip Studio Paint. When you're raised on Psy, God, it's like being an Amish kid and someone hands you a ghost pepper, It's like, what even is this? This is too much. This is way too much. I look at the Clip Studio Paint layout, and I'm like, how could anyone ever need this many tools? So yeah, I opened up Clip Studio Paint, and I started really, 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 really messing with it, which is what I do when I'm done with all the like meat and potatoes of everything. And it's time to render, and I mess with it, and I mess with it for a really long time until I decide, yes, that's it. That's what I want this to be. I'm done looking at it. We're done. So yeah, I'm doing a lot of things in Clip Studio. I'm like watching the SPEEDPAINT right now. And I'm trying to see if there's like anything else I can comment on, but Nothing really. I'm just experimenting. I'm doing a lot of experimenting until I'm like, yeah, that's enough. We're done. So, yeah, I think right about now we're getting to the finished product, and I think we're gonna call that a night. Yeah. So, yep, there's the finished product, and I really hope you like it, Thierry. I hope you're having a great Christmas, and again, your mom loves you. And whatever you decide to do with your life, I know you're going to be great at it. Yeah. I wish I had more to say than that. I'm not super good at this kind of stuff, but I'm trying, I'm doing my best. I hope I was helpful to you in some way, and yeah. All right. We'll call that done.